Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Civilcraft. So, I'm sorry for the really late upload. I had to wait for replay mod to update before I could actually get this video out. But now that it's actually updated to 1.16, I can actually begin making videos again. As you can see, I've built up a lot more of the base area now. As you can see, we actually have a good amount of storage here and there. I put up a nice painting, and as you can see, I've also put a lot of the new nether blocks to good use, such as the polished basalt, the shroom lights, which I think might be like my favorite blocks in the game now. I am going to need to figure out a way to farm shroom lights though, because they're a bit of a pain to get. As you can see, I'm still missing one here. And if I quickly go up to this, if I quickly come down here, you'll see that I began preparations for both a hallway here for a sorter system for stuff like stone, granite, diorite, etc. And an area for a tree farm, because if I were to show the schematic placement here, you'll see that the AFK area for the tree farm is right here. Hold up, if I can actually, I'll turn off the schematic first. And if I were to go up here for a moment. So yeah, I've also added a small auto composter system here, which is giving us a good amount of bone meal, and it's also a really good way for me to get rid of all the extra melons and pumpkins that we have. If I head over to the slime farm, head over to the slime farm really quick. Oh my god, okay, my internet is, okay, my connection is a bit shaky. Okay, here we go. If I quickly head over to the slime farm, I'm going to relog real quick, because of, if I head up, I've also made some more progress on, no, I've actually finished the slime farm storage system, and as you can see, it is, if I can actually open the chests, and as you can see, they are completely filled. And funny thing is, funny thing is, the slime farm actually broke a while back off recording because the way mob spawning was changed slightly. Mobs like skeletons actually wound up spawning inside the farm, and they shot all the golems to death. So I had to go in, place them all, and replace all the golems, which was a bit of a hassle, but it wasn't too bad. Okay, so plans for this episode is pretty simple. I found a pretty decent spot for a witch farm that I'm going to build up because redstone has been, we've always been running out of redstone recently, and it'd also be nice just to have a good supply of glowstone just in case I ever want to make lamps or use glowstone for lighting. And I'm also going to want to build up the tree farm because I dug out a giant room for that. I want to use it to have the tree farm in there because we've been running out of wood recently for stuff like chests, which is a bit annoying. And if we have time, I'm going to begin working on the shulker farm, so we're going to be blowing up a perimeter in the end, which is something I've never done before, but I'm also a bit nervous about it. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. Right, so this is where we're going to be building our witch farm. As you can see, I already have a schematic placed here. This is Ilmango's shifting floor witch farm for 1.13 and 1.14, and I decided to use an entity cramming system since we're not going to be making a perimeter here, for obvious reasons, since we don't have any sponges and there would be way too much water to drain to make a perimeter using a carpet bomber. The AFK spot is set all the way up here, and all the way up here so that the witches will just barely be loaded in the entity cramming kill chamber right at the very bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use I duped some more sand, and I'm gonna use it to basically just mark off this area here, and then drain it, and then mine it down a bit, just so that it'll look a bit more clean. And And I'll make a time lapse of me building the witch farm definitely because that's why I waited so long for replay mod. And that's why I wasn't uploading. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the time lapse. Of my friend, I expanded the hole that the witch farm is going to be built in so that it will fit the whole schematic inside, and I also flooded the entire bottom just to make sure that it would be spawn proof without lighting up anything near the witch farm. I also went ahead and put down a bunch of torches all around this area, that like extra areas that the AFK spot would load in would be spawnable in the despawn sphere. And I went around putting down all the torches and getting rid of spawnable blocks. Okay, so if I were to show you a spawnable block with my mod, it is outlined in red. And as you can see, inside the loaded in ground here, there is not a single block outlined by red here, which means that this whole area here is spawn proof except for what's going to be inside the witch farm. So now it's just a matter of me building up the witch farm, building up the storage, and once I do that, we are going to have an infinite source, or at least a sustainable source of redstone, which is something that we've needed for so long now, and I'm so happy that we're going to get this done very soon. time-lapse, and the witch farm is now done, and which means that we now have a sustainable source of bulk quantities of redstone. I have only had this running for like an hour, and it's already produced a little over 11 stacks of redstone, which should serve our purposes for a while, but but it's definitely not gonna be a permanent solution. But this is definitely better than having to go strip mine every time and need redstone. At the moment, everything is just going straight into chests here. But however, I'm definitely going to have to hook this up to some type of a water stream that will take it up here for it to be stored and stored. And first off, I really just want to show how many witches can be here sometimes. Like every now and again, we'd end up, like, you'd have, like, a lot of witches here. Every now and again, you usually get only a couple witches at a time, but every now and again, there'd just be, like, a surge of, like, 20 witches coming down, and it's just ridiculous. Like, I want to show you that. Like, yeah, okay, that's 3 witches. There's like 3 witches, and here's a few more. And this farm can produce a lot of witches every now and again. Every now and again we get like 10 witches at once, which is ridiculous. And our AFK platform's up there, and it's positioned so that only the farm will actually get loaded in, or at least be in the spawning sphere, while everything else that's not in the farm would just can't spawn any mobs. Which means that if you check the mob cap, the farm is running at 100% mob cap efficiency. So this is like a huge improvement now for being on the server. We don't have to go strip mining for redstone anymore. So now we can tackle much more ambitious projects. Now really all we need is just a wood farm, and then we can just craft bulk quantities of pistons, which will solve the rest of our issues. Okay, so I began work on the storage system for the witch farm. I have a water stream hooked up to an auto dropper, taking items from the farm, taking them up, and to be distributed along the water stream, where I'm going to have sorters sort out redstone, glowstone, bottles, sugar, and pretty much everything that the witch farm can produce, except for spider eyes, because really nobody needs spider eyes. So I'm just gonna incinerate them, and anything else that comes along will also get incinerated with the lava at the end. I'm actually starting this thing like right after I finish the farm, because I don't want it to procrastinate on this, like the slime farm, because that farm, I built the storage literally a week after the farm was actually finished, and I want to get this done as fast as possible to avoid that happening ever again. Okay, so another day, another storage system done. This is the witch farm storage system. Probably looks very familiar, because this is the exact same system that I use to sort out items in the mob farm. It's pretty basic. Pretty standard sorter system. And down here I have 150 double chests, which would have about 150 double chests, which I think might be more than the slime farm, but that probably makes sense because I'm probably going to be AFKing here for way longer for redstone, since really I use redstone much more than slime. So yeah, I'm just going to AFK this thing overnight, see how many drops I get, and then I'll come back to you tomorrow. Okay, so we're back the next day after AFKing at the witch farm for roughly 14-15 hours, I think. It was definitely more than 10 hours, I'll tell you that, I'll guarantee you that. And yeah, we got a lot of redstone. I mean a little over two double chests of redstone. This is what we've been asking for ever since the server started. Ever since we began using redstone a lot more, this is what I've been needing for so long. This is so much redstone. And not only that, we also got a lot of gunpowder, glowstone, which will make making redstone lamps so much easier. A lot of sugar, which I just collect because zero chicken sugarcane doesn't work anymore, and I want to have a source of sugar so that we don't ever have to use sugarcane for anything else other than paper. Tons of glass bottles for honey farms, and also a lot of sticks for crafting, which is really helpful because crafting sticks is a bit of a pain, really, because it gives you so much. So yeah, Now I'm going to build up the storage room for this. I'm thinking of doing it in a style similar to the mob farm, and I'll actually be able to use way more redstone lamps now because we now have a stable source of both glowstone and redstone. So yeah, I'll come up with the design and then I'll see you back. Come up with the design and then I'll see you when I build, and I'll see you again when I build up the whole thing. Right, so I built up part of the storage room. As you can see, it is the exterior is probably the ugliest thing I've ever built on the server, and frankly, the interior isn't much better, to be honest, but it will have to do for now because I really don't know what to do with this because the interior looks decent, but I'm not really that good with exteriors, which is really why I do most of my builds underground or in a mountain of some sort, so that I don't have to worry about the exterior. Because as you can see, I'm pretty bad at exteriors, but it'll have to do for now. But this will have to do for now. Either way, what I want to get started on is the wood farm. Because if I were to hop into this portal real quick, and then fly back to the base. I'm gonna do this real quick. You might remember from last episode that I dug out this huge area here for a tree farm, so I figured that it's about time that I actually build up a tree farm. I've actually been gathering some of the resources for the tree farm. I am going to need to craft some new pistons, but that shouldn't be all too challenging, given that we have a good stable source of redstone now, and I've also begun growing some giant spruce trees here just for some temporary wood. So yeah, once we get the stone farm set up, then really we'll be set with like the three main resources required. In my opinion, like the three most important resources for Minecraft, which is wood, stone, redstone, and iron. Because once we have the wood farm done, we'll be able to craft bulk quantities of pretty much all the really important stuff that we need, such as pistons, repeaters, and redstone components, etc. So yeah, this is gonna be this is definitely gonna make life much easier. Okay, so it's now time to finally build the tree farm. I spent like about an hour gathering all the resources for this, and I also went ahead and collected a lot of terracotta just so that I won't have to go gather any more if I ever needed it. So I got a whole double chest of it. So yeah, it's time to build a tree farm, which is something which we really needed for a while. And to get down here, I have this simple water elevator system. I already have a schematic here. As you can see, I already have the water collection system built up. So now I'm just gonna build up the rest of the tree farm, and I'll try to make a time lapse out of it. Right, so hope you enjoyed the time lapse. There was a lot of pauses because that was me looking at the tutorial on my phone. Because this farm design isn't mine. This is Ilmango's fast 4-type tree farm. It works with acacia, oak, spruce, and birch. And it's also very fast. If I turn the tree farm on and use it for a bit, as you can see, a lot of piston action is happening and we're getting logs. However, though, it is a very laggy farm, definitely, because if you look at the TPS, the server really does not like a farm with this many pistons firing off at once. I think there's about a little like about 250 pistons firing off at once per cycle when this farm is in use. And as you can see, as you can see, there's a lot of very complex piston action going on here also. And yeah, we have a TNT duper here. Dropping TNT, breaking the logs. And yeah, it's definitely a very fast tree farm. And now turn it off. And I also added some windows to this corridor here that I dug out. It just so that you can like sort of like see inside the farm as it's working. And it's actually pretty interesting to see the farm work. Like if I were to quickly spawn in a player here and then let him use the farm for a bit. If I were to spawn in a player here and then give him some saplings. If I do this, as you can see, you can actually see all the pistons working from right here. And there's some very interesting things happening with this farm. Like there's an instant repeater here giving off pulses, and yeah, this is definitely a very ridiculous farm. Okay, now that we have a stable source of wood, we pretty much have all the really important resources, which is wood, iron, redstone, and stone. We can now begin to tackle some much larger projects. Although first, before I do that, I'm going to need a storage system for the tree farm, which I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick with the a similar color palette to the rest of the base, although I might make some slight changes. And I'm also going to go ahead and panel these walls completely with some kind of blocks to make it look nice. And I'm also having to make sure to light up everything properly because we don't want creepers spawning on top of the tree farm, since this took way too long to build and I don't want it to get blown up. And if you come down here, you also see that I went through the trouble that I actually went ahead and I covered the whole floor here with slime to prevent myself from dying if I ever need to do maintenance in the farm, then I fall on the ground so that I don't take damage when I fall down. And I also covered the whole thing in carpet to completely spawn proof it, because slimes will spawn no matter what light level it is, because there are slime chunks down here. As for the storage, I'm planning on having two storages for the tree farm, one that's sorted and one for bulk wood. So basically my idea is basically, since it would be way too much work to be able to build a fully sorted system for every wood type that'll be able to handle the farm running for overnight, I decided that I basically have two sections here. So right over here we have the area where the wood would be fully sorted, and then right back here we have just a row of chests that are not sorted that will just pump wood directly in from the tree farm. And then I'm just gonna have a lever right here that can divert the water stream that will go up and over. It'll divert a water stream, and then depending on where it gets diverted, it'll either go to bulk storage or it'll get sorted. And now I'm going to work on storage. I'm actually going to do a time lapse of the storage because I don't think I've actually shown you guys me building any sort of sorter system. So it is going to be a pretty cool time lapse. I hope you enjoy. Right, so the tree farm is now 100% done. The whole storage room is done. Everything here is done. So yeah. So I'm just gonna demonstrate what a system that I have here. So basically, I have a lever here that can switch between sorted storage and bulk storage. Oh wait, did I label that wrong? And I did label it wrong. Let me fix that real quick. Okay, I fixed the sign now. So if I have the lever pulled down, then and right up here, it redirects a water stream here that will sort all the logs like this. However, if I ever need like a huge quantity of wood, as in like more than 25 double chests, then I would simply flip this switch. It would redirect the water stream to go behind all this and then go straight into bulk storage. So yeah, I usually have it on sorted storage because the bunch of logs that are pushed here tend to be mix of several logs. Right over here, I hooked up the oak switch, so if I do this, you can see a triple piston extender fires off here, which, yeah, prevents oak trees from growing. The big oak trees, which would definitely break the farm. So yeah, I say that I got a lot done now. I was planning on getting some work on the shulker farm done, but but what I can tell, we don't have time for that anymore. So I'll probably do that next episode. But either way, I think this episode I've improved the quality of life on the server quite a bit. We now have a fully renewable source of a lot of redstone. We have a fully renewable source of wood now, which, yeah, I think this was a very productive episode. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you later. Hope you have a great day.